So our course title is Introduction to Prose, and for this region we have to understand the basic tenets of prose and other things relating to this course. And we have gone through the definition of literature. Literature is a creative work. Very shortly, the definition of literature is a creative work. It can be several kinds, okay, and you can write about several things what you think, but one thing is common will be there: literature is a creative work. Good. There are several parts in literature. First part of literature started its journey with poetry. So in that context we can say that poetry is the earliest form. Oh my gosh. What happened? So we can say that poetry is the earliest form of literature. Next, drama. Next, fiction. Next, non-fiction or prose. Fiction is imaginative, and last of all we see the criticism. All these are parts of literature. I am not speaking about English literature. These are the part of every literature. Spanish literature, Hungarian literature, Chinese literature, Japanese literature, everyone. So in every literature we will see poems, we will see prose, we will see drama, we will see criticism, and fiction and non-fiction. Okay, so these are the integral part of yeah, I am coming. So if anybody, any question comes to your mind, okay, so you note it down. Okay? So poetry or poem is written in verse. So prose is a creative work, drama is a creative work, and also poem is a creative work, novel is a creative work. And what is the definition of a poem? The definition of a poem is that poem is a creative work written in verse. That's it. Poem is a creative work written in verse. Okay, there are several categories of poems, that is objective and subjective. You know that epic poem, ballad, metrical romances, lyric, elegy, sonnet, ode, hymn, and dramatic monologue. These are the categories of poems. Our concern is not poems. Still, we are trying to have a little bit discussion about that. Epic is a long narrative poem, so it will be extended up to 3,000 lines or 4,000 lines. Homer's Iliad, Odyssey, these are the epic poems. Milton's Paradise Lost, these are the epic. Okay, and ballad is a short form of poem, short stanza, written on a popular issues, or ballad is driven from one people's mouth to another people's mouth. So folk can be called oral literature, or it is a part of folk culture. Folk means Janagon, Lokajan. Okay, folk culture. So metrical romance is a kind of poetry dealing with emotion of life. Okay, metrical romances, there will have some heroism, there will have some romanticism. So it is also a category of poem that will be dealing with human emotion. Okay, so the metrical romance, the Norman first brought the metrical romance into England. Drama, again, one thing is common: drama is a creative work written in verse. Yeah, poetic, but that will intended to be performed on stage. So poem is written in verse, drama is written in verse, and the intention is that drama is written to be performed or stress. Okay, poem can also be recited. Okay, but drama and the poem, the difference in your Viva Voce. After this semester, your Viva Voce, this question will come. What is the definition of drama? What is the definition of prose? What is the definition of novel? Whoever may be in the Viva Voce, it will come. So this class is very important for this in this semester. Okay, so drama, a play for theatre, radio, or television, written in verse. That means, what is the common definition? Literature is a creative work. So put over there, drama is a creative work written in verse to be performed on stage. Okay, very short and perfect definition, and later you will be elaborate the other things. What would be the heroic tragedy or drama? Will have several categories: comedy and comedy of manners, comedy of humors, restoration comedy, tragedy, heroic tragedy, revenge tragedy, Senecan tragedy. These are all dramas. So all dramas are written to be performed on stage. Okay, and then fiction. Fiction is very much related to the imaginary writing. I said a little bit earlier, that means someone is writing about a person. His name is Fungshu Kwangru. So this name is not common over here, but it is the imagination of the writer. So fiction especially describes the imaginary events and people. Okay. R.K. Narayan has written his novels based on a place. The name of the place was Malgudi, and that Malgudi is no place in India. So how he has created this? He has created this with the help of his imagination. Okay, so fiction is the activities or writing or creative work that depends on imagination, imaginary events or imaginary people. Okay, novels, stories, and also creative writing. Short stories as well. Short stories, novels, and some other form. Non-fiction. Fiction is imaginary. Non-fiction is not imaginary. That means if you write a history, okay, history cannot be so that is called non-fiction. So prose writing is informative and factual rather than fictional. That is called non-fiction. And in that cases, we will say essay, historical writings, and also prose. Prose will, in some category, that will be realistic, and also in some category, some prose will be. If you write a prose about a historical person, what did he do? Okay, প্রবন্ধ লিখলেন একটা কারো ব্যক্তির উপরে, সেই প্রবন্ধ আপনি you can write it with the help of imagination. We can help of imagination. Okay, so that is non-fiction. Okay, and also now the definition of prose. So one thing is common. What is the common thing? Prose is a creative. Everybody, prose is a written or spoken language in its ordinary form, without metrical structure. Metrical structure means there is no rhyme and rhythm. Prose মধ্যে কোনো rhyme and rhythm থাকবে না. Blow gently over my garden, wind of the southern sea. In the hour my love come and call me. রোদের গন্ধ মুছে ফেলেছি, তুহার কবিতা অন্ধকার বিদিশার দেশা, সেমনি দেখেছি তার অন্ধকার পাখির বাসার মতো চোখগুলি নাটকের. These are written on metrical, rhyme and rhythm. That is poems. But in case of prose, there will be no rhyme and rhythm. So that would be written in general form. not in without metrical structure. Okay, that is a short story is also a prose. Okay, so yes. You didn't do that. Okay, so prose is a creative work written without metrical structure. Everybody, prose is a creative work written without metrical structure. Okay? Without metrical structure. Poem is a creative work written in verse. Okay? So these are the definition of prose, because the title of our course is Introduction to Prose. So all of you have understood the definition of a prose? Good. So these are the definition of prose. So that is the ordinary, what language will be used in prose? The language, the ordinary, the people use language in their day-to-day activities. That means the ordinary language will be used in prose. Okay, closer to the common peoples. Actually, the prose comes from the Latin word prosa. Prosa, you can write this word, P-R-O-S-A, prosa. It's a Latin word. Prose, this very word is derived from a Latin word, and the word spells P-R-O-S-A, prosa. Prosa means straightforward. Straightforward. So the word prose, so anybody will ask you that what is the definition of a prose, he will say that prose is derived from a Latin word prosa, that means straightforward. Elaborately, you can say that prose is a creative work written without metrical structure. Good. Okay, so this is prose. And what is its types? Types can be, the prose can be fictional, non-fictional, and heroic elements will be there. Heroic prose will be there. Subject or that are the categories of prose. Fiction, that means imaginary. Non-fiction, realistic, and heroic. These are based on the activities of an important person or something else. That is the heroic poems, prose. Okay. These are actually the, what is that? Biography, autobiography, folk tale, myth, legend, fable. What's that? Fable, parable, novel, short story, and essay. These are all prose. And for this reason, in our syllabus there is animal farm. This is a novel, a short novel. And there is another novel, Anita Desai Games at 12 Life. That is a novel. Okay. And we have also an essay of studies written by Francis Bacon. But autobiography, biography are not in our syllabus because it is introduction, is it? So we will be dealing with several forms of prose. Okay, so these are the category of prose. Biography. If one of you write the life history of myself, that is biography. So biography is written some person's life history by another person. That is biography. Auto means own. Autobiography means if I write about my life by myself, that is called autobiography. But it's part of a prose. Biography is also part of a prose. And folktale, it's derived from the popular culture, typically passed on by word to mouth. বৃষ্টি পড়ে পাতা নড়ে, আবার ঝড় হচ্ছে, বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে, These are culture. it is orally. These are the parts. In many cultures, we have seen that they on Wednesday, বুধবারে বাঁশ কাটতে নেই কেন? In many reasons there will be several reasons. What is? Who has said this? It is a part of their culture. Okay, that is the folk culture. Even Pohela Boishak and some other cultural activities are related to folk culture. So folk tale will be written about such kinds of popular culture or folk culture. Okay, that is folk. And also myth. Myth depends on the symbolic narrative, usually unknown origin, and least partly traditional that relates the actual events. Actually, it is distinct. That is mythology or mythology. You have heard the name? Okay. There is a myth. কি myth আছে? And that some symbolic behavior কোনো একটা জায়গায় বলা হচ্ছে যে মিথোলজির মধ্যে যেমন কিছু ক্যারেক্টার পাওয়া যাচ্ছে সেরকম কোনো এলাকায় একটা মিথ আছে। কি মিথ আছে? যে ওই রকম বড় বট গাছগুলোর নিচে কোনো একটা সময়ে এক রাজা বাস করতেন। এই যে মিথোলজিক্যালি বা একটা হিস্ট্রি, এবং দ্যাট ইজ ডিরাইভড ফ্রম ইমাজিনেশন, বাট whether it is related to actual event or not, there's no guarantee. So it has been a myth. So that is myth. Legend, something, he has been a legendary figure. Legendary, that means an example of a great person, an example of a history. That is a legendary event that we have got the longest multi-purpose bridge in our country. So that is a legend. Legend speaks about a great a thing or event or person of great importance. Things, event or person related to great importance. That is legend. And fable, a short story typically with animals as characters. Fairy tales. Okay, the story between the fox and jackal. Once a time, there was a jackal. He went to the village and he got his body colored because he tumbled down on a bowl of color. So this is the story. So what is the character over here? Fox. So in case of fable, the character will be, but there are some moral. There are some morals. In case of fable, there will be a moral lesson. There was an ostrich. It was very greedy. One day, he grabbed a hot potato and started eating that. But the hot potato burned its throat. একটা উট পাখি ছিল, সে খুব লোভী ছিল। সে একদিন একটা গরম আলু চুরি করে খেতে গেল, তখন তার গলা পুড়ে গেল। What is the moral of this? Don't be so greedy. So these are the fable. Okay. So parable, the simple story, moral and spiritual lesson. In case of parable, you will see a simple story where you will have some moral lesson or spiritual something related to religious, as told by Jesus as the gospel. In the book of Testament, Old Testament or New Testament, there are several stories. These stories are called parable or gospel. Okay, and novel, a fictitious prose narrative written for nearly 20 years story of a person or an incident. Okay, and the word count might be more than 40,000 words. 40,000 to 50,000 words will be there in a novel. So first time, novel will be a fictitious prose narrative. Fictitious prose narrative will be lengthy in terms of time and in terms of word count. Okay, there are some structure will be there. Novel, what will be the structure of the novel? You will be getting know when you will studying novel. But previously, novel is a prose writing, and it will have a lengthy word count, and it will cover the story. That means the story of 20 years or more than 20 years or more than 2 generations story of a person or a event. That is novel. And short story, Short story. Short story is shorter than novel. Novella. Novel is word count is 40,000 to 50,000. Novella means word count is 5,000 to 10,000, and short story shorter than novella. Word count may be 1,000, 2,000 or like that. Okay. So, but short story is also a prose narrative. Okay. So that is short story. And essay. Essay is the writing about an incident or person or any things you can write without any metrical structure. Essays on literature, essays on weather, essays on environmental science or environmental change. These are the essays. And one thing he said, that what is criticism? Criticism, there are two kinds of criticism. Criticism is that literary criticism. Literary criticism will be what will be the characteristics of prose, the definition of prose. What would be the characteristics of novella? These are called literary criticism. And another criticism is that is the theory, contemporary critical theories. Critical theories, that means there are some philosophical theories like existentialism, feminism, and post-colonialism, colonialism, modernism. There are some isms. There are also a theory, and with that theory, if you criticize something, that would be the criticism. So criticism is of two kinds. That is literary criticism. Literary criticism, that means criticism, Johnson's an apology for poetry. Okay. Here he has written that what would be the subject of poetry, what is the history of poetry. That is called literary criticism. Biographia literaria, also literary criticism. But whenever you will write or criticize or comment about a thing or incident with the help of critical theories, that will be criticism on a specific subject. So if you write a poem and if that poem is criticized by some other one, that is also called criticism. Okay. So that is the several genres. So these are written in Bengali for the better understanding. Literary criticism, look here. The art of practice of judging, commenting the qualities or character of a literary work. That is the literary criticism. It is not necessary to write it down, okay? Or you can write it. That is art of practice of judging or commenting on the qualities or the character of literary works. Okay. So,
my question is actually, who can criticize a literary work? Does I have to be a poet to criticize another?
No. Everybody can criticize others. You can criticize the poems written by or written in English literature, all poems of English literature.
And the second thing is criticism a fundamental part of literature? I mean, if there is no criticism of a particular literature or a particular poem or fiction, then should we call it a fiction or poem or a part of literature or not?
Why not? Literature is a creative work. If there is any criticism, it's okay. If there is no criticism, it's also okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, yes, please. Yeah, I know. And for this reason, I will not be taking much time. Okay. And criticism, that is the expression of disapproval of something or someone on the basis of perceived faults or mistakes. That can also be the criticism. So, is there any difference between the words novel and novella? Novella, what count will be 5,000 to 10,000, and novel 50,000 to 40,000. নভেলে 40,000 থেকে 50,000 আর নভেলাতে 5,000 থেকে 10,000. Okay, see I'm going to down the signature. Okay. Okay. Any question? This question is, I have answered, yes, please.
As we know, non-fiction is realistic.
Yes.
But if we add something which is not related to events and something etc., so then is it still non-fiction or becomes no.
If you put anything extra, that will be extra. If you write about history, then when history to the festival, that is the real and if you put anything extra, that will be the fictitious. That means imaginary. Yeah. Good. Clap. Thank you very much. Actually, আজকে আমরা বসুন। আজকে আমরা I know that আপনাদের বাস হলো